Hi folks, back again. The Pilgrim has landed, if you will. I'm going to start the old watch here. Anyway, I've made a bunch of notes. I normally don't make notes, but I want to try and be somewhat organized. And what I'd like to do is just sort of go over my trip and tell you what I came up with as far as how this is all going and so on and so forth. And anyway, let me start sort of at the beginning here. I left my home here in Virginia Beach. By the way, I'm in my driveway, and ironically, because of the kind of lot I have, the city inspectors or zoners or whomever said that I can actually park this in my driveway, which, man, oh man, this is really something. I just don't want to leave this trailer. I've been in it for a while. Anyway, I left Virginia Beach the 29th, which was a Saturday, and for some reason I just drove straight through to Rice. I got there early Sunday, let me see, yeah, Sunday morning, and went out to the trailer place, I think the next day, Monday. Said hi to Harold, my salesman, and loaded up a bunch of stuff in the trailer. And then I went back on Tuesday and picked it up. This was Tuesday, the 1st of February. And as I've mentioned on these other ones I've posted, that's when this ice storm hit Texas. Well, I think the Midwest. I think the whole place was messed up. I stayed at the campground in Rice for 2 days, and then I headed east, trying to find some better weather, if you will. Now, as I said, I'd been gone about 23 days in the trailer. First 2 days I spent at the campground in Rice, and the third day I spent in a Cracker Barrel at Hattiesburg, and then, like a miracle, I found this place on Pensacola Island, at the end of the island where Fort Pickens is. I stayed there 18 days. Now, on the way back, I stayed one night in Anderson, South Carolina at Cracker Barrel. I stayed 1 day at South Hill, Virginia at a Cracker Barrel. Total of 23 days. Now, before I left, I bought a new GPS, one of these real simple ones. And for some reason, I just couldn't come to grips with it. So I didn't even use the daggone thing. Thankfully, I didn't pay much for it. What I did is I dug out this other GPS that I bought several years ago and basically never used because I didn't feel like fiddling with it. But the one thing I could figure out how to do is have it accumulate mileage and stuff like that. So I did turn that baby on when I left home. Excuse me. I just checked out the GPS, and it's a total of 3,800 miles. Now, of course, that's leaving Virginia, driving my car, not towing anything, obviously, headed to Texas, and then Texas to Florida, and Florida back to Virginia. It's about 1,400 miles to Texas, and if you take 14 from 38, you get 24. And I did a map quest. Oh, by the way, I was going to keep all these meticulous records, and I didn't. I did a map quest from Texas to Florida to Virginia, and there'll be some variation here because there's several ways you can get, you can do this from Florida to Virginia. But it looks like I actually towed the trailer at least 1,700 miles, possibly 1,800 or 1,850 or 19, I'm not sure. But a good solid 1,700 miles, I'm pretty sure. So anything I have to say is based on living in this trailer for 23 days and towing it for 1,700 miles. Now, where to start? Oh my gosh. As I said, I have little sections here, but anyway, whatever. I'll start. I guess one thing, being new to this, I didn't I really didn't know what my expectations were. I was, because I had no knowledge of trailers or traveling or any of this kind of stuff. So I really wasn't sure what I was going to do. I'm just thankful that somehow I found that place on the end of the island. Boy, was that great. So I guess if you evaluate a trip, you'd have to evaluate it with what your expectations were and what the reality of the trip was. So I had basically no expectations. In fact, I've mentioned before that I thought that I might get so weirded out, for lack of a better word, with this trailer on the back of my truck, that I might just head straight home, stay on the interstates and never get off, just come straight home. I think I've mentioned before that when I picked the trailer up, I crept down the interstate at like 50 miles an hour or something. But after you actually get out there and start towing, you'll have a better appreciation of how comfortable you are with it. Not to spend a whole lot of time on it, I have a Honda Ridgeline, and I did not buy sway bars or weight transfer hitches or anything like that. I spent hours on the internet reading about all that stuff, and what I decided after talking to my salesman out there is that I would just try towing the way it is without any of that stuff and see what happens, and then add something, if I felt as though I needed it. So and this isn't like a macho thing, please. I towed as fast as 75 with that, and it was in like world's worst weather, windy, rainy, and I just wanted to get the heck out of the weather, man. I wanted to get somewhere where it wasn't freezing. I was just looking for not freezing, and it towed well. I never had any of those white knuckle experiences. Excuse me. Now, what? Geez, almost the wrong end. What I decided, after sitting in Florida for 18 days, is it just doesn't make sense to me to run around the country at 75 miles an hour towing a trailer. It doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons. Number one, obviously it's much safer if you're going at a slower speed. The other thing is, boy, did my gas mileage go. It went down in the 9s. I was literally getting in the 9s. I was filling up a little under 200 miles. When I left Florida a couple days ago, I put the cruise control on 60, and that was that. I got from the low 12s or so to the high 13s. I don't think I got to 14, but that's like 3 miles per gallon better than at the 75. The other thing too is I decided that gosh, if I'm going to be out there traveling around, I just want to take my time. And I think what I'm going to do, for instance, on the way up, I stopped at a couple of rest stops, just stopped. The Welcome Center in North Carolina was great, beautiful center, and I have something on the YouTube thing about that. But, and then I parked at the rest stop, I went in, got some brochures and all that mess, went out to the trailer, and looked at my email, and just took a break for 15 or 20 minutes. Then I stopped at that JR place, which I shouldn't have, JMJR, whatever it was, that discount place in North Carolina. Man, did I spend some money there on stuff I didn't need. But so I guess the thing is, this slowing back to 60 and just taking it easy is the way I'm planning on doing this. The only disadvantage of that, of course, is those monster trucks are coming by you, most likely at 75 miles an hour, and you're going 60. And you do get buffeting. I never had the white knuckle stuff, with the swaying and all of that. And then it bobbles a little bit, or whatever term you want to use, but it was never to the point where I was frightened that, oh gosh, I'm going to lose control, and so on and so forth. But it's so much nicer doing it that way than frantically running up and down the road, When I drove out there, of course, I wanted to get there in a hurry, since I was going to do it all at once. I mean, I didn't even stop to eat. I went through drive-ins and, ate while I was underway. But that's not a good way to do it. Let me see. the trailer. What do I think about this trailer after living in it for however many days? No buyer's remorse. This is a heck of a neat trailer. Now, obviously, I have no experience. This is it. You know, this is the only trailer I've ever been in. Now, I've looked at a couple others, and as I mentioned before, I was going to buy an Airstream, but I won't bore you with why I didn't. But this is a really nifty trailer. And now, one thing I'm ticked off about is this is supposed to be a quality trailer, and I would say it is. One thing that really gets me is we are paying a premium price for this. In other words, if you took your $17,500 and went out there to see what else you could buy, I mean, you could buy like a 22-footer, 25-footer, or whatever. I'm not saying you should, but what I'm trying to say is you're paying a premium price for this trailer. There's no two ways about it. And I think what we're paying for is the fact that hopefully it's put together well. I think we like this fiberglass gizmo so we don't have any problems with leaks and things like that. But what really ticks me off, and no, it's not the sink, is the battery. They put a daggone battery in here. You have to check the water. This is supposed to be a quality product, and they save $10 or $15 by putting this non-sealed or unsealed battery in here, which is absurd. That's the real complaint I have so far about this trailer. Now, I've gone on and on about the sink. Okay, my workaround, as they say, is I bought a smaller pan. But the sink is a pain in the butt. But hey, the sink was the same size when I bought it, you know. The other thing, I was having trouble with the shower. You know, you're all soaped up, you know, soap all over your face and everything, then the thing kicks off and all of that. I think I have solved that problem. What I do now is I put the thing on to shut off the head. I pull the little gizmo up on the, you know, where the faucets are, and then turn the faucets on. And that seems to sort of lock that thing in the up position. Then you squeeze the hand gizmo, get the water the way you want it, then go ahead and shower. Before, it was a real mess. It was always that thing would fall down and all the other stuff. But I think if you pull it to the top, click on the gizmo, and open the water while you're holding it, I think this will save a lot of problems. So, anyway. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to come back because I don't want to run over on the time. I'll be back in a second. It's Pat Condell with say, peace, ladies and gentlemen.